Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University and Salvagers, Volume 1. Now, this is a really small, independent comic. It's actually got 2 volumes out. Each volume is about 100 pages or so, and they're about to start work on Volume 3. Actually, Volume 2, as of the time of this video, just got fully funded and is looking towards stretch goals on Kickstarter. I just had a conversation with the independent artist recently, the writer, Bob Sally, and very cool guy out of Philly. This is pretty much a life dream of his. He actually writes a lot of poetry and prose, and he decided to make this comic, and it is a sci-fi comic. There are no superheroes per se in this, just humans and aliens, and they are in deep space. And it's really a fantastic story, guys. I'm not just trying to play this up or anything like this. A really small independent publisher called Source Point Press, and one of the reasons why I'm doing this is, one, I like to look at a lot of independent comics. I like to look at the small guys and, see what they're doing and try and propagate it as much as I possibly can on my small channel. And being able to meet this guy was pretty cool. Having this conversation with him, guys, I'm telling you right now, if I could look into the future, I could see this as being the next. This could be a streaming service. This could be a regular TV thing. I'm saying that this could wind up being the next Firefly or something to that effect. That sounds like a really huge stretch of the imagination, right? But no, I'm being dead serious when I say this. This has all the makings of that, and I haven't even read Volume 2 yet. I've only read the first volume. So we got 4 main characters here. We got Captain Bill Roenick, who's a human engineer, and he's kind of the leader of the group. There's Tegan. She's often known as just T. She's support. She's the man on the ground or man in the ship. And she basically just hangs out in there, and she talks in people's ears. And she's in charge of this Artificial Vehicular Resource Intelligence. AVRI for short, that's the acronym. There's this big hulking dude named Tyr, that's his nickname, and he's basically just a brute, and you'd think that he's just the big, loyal, dumb guy who's comic relief, but it's actually a little bit more than that. He's particularly smart, all right? He's a mechanic, and he's doing things that you'd figure he wouldn't be able to, but there's also this dude named Brigby. He's this particularly small guy, but he's kind of a comic relief. He's the happy-go-lucky guy, and yet he's the guy who winds up getting in the most trouble, and the modus operandi of the story is to get this knucklehead out of trouble. But he's actually pretty endearing, and he goes through a lot. He's not the kind of guy who you're upset at, and he's not necessarily the guy that you're feeling sorry for. He's kind of the guy that you're rooting for in many regards, and I like that they were able to pull that off. Each character gets a really good amount of screen time, face time, so to speak. You're learning a little bit more about each character as we go on, and I like the dynamic between the characters, the way that they all get along with each other. They've all got their own little nicknames for each other, and it's pretty easy to follow along. The story, first off, let me just get the art out of the way. The art is amazing. The art blows me away. For such a small little company like this, that's not an insult. For such a small company, wow, to be able to pull off some stuff like this is pretty damn amazing. Just gonna put that out there. But on top of that, the writing. This is really good. It's kind of like one of those, it'll suck you in. You get to really, it's almost like you're not even reading it so much as hearing it being spoken. All right, that's what this is really like. And that's something you could really get into. I'm digging on this a lot. Basically, the idea for this is just a couple of guys, just 4 people who are trying to make money by being salvagers. And they go out, they work for a company. At the same time, there are a lot of pirates out there. And there also seem to be some black ops individuals who don't want their stuff stolen, pirated, even though it's supposedly legal. Just because the large corporations telling them to do it, it's not exactly a government corporation. So everybody's got their own drives, their own means of doing what they're doing. And for a black ops group that you don't really get to see much at all, they sure as hell are a pretty scary force to be reckoned with. I mean, literally, like without even seeing them, just the plans that they have are they're all life-threatening. Every single plan these guys have is life-threatening to our main characters. And it's sick. It's sick to be able to see something like this pulled off. Guys, I'm going to give this comic an A-. I am genuinely looking forward to reading the next part of this. I've actually got it coming into me pretty soon. And then part 3, once that's ready to come out, that's actually supposed to wrap this up. Again, the guy who does this is actually big into playwrights and things like that. So he's actually set it up to be 3 acts. So the second act, I'm told, is going to be really messed up and is going to make me a little angry at some points. I'm good with that. I get emotional with my comics. And then part 3 is supposed to wrap it all up, and it's supposed to be one hell of a crescendo. And guys, finally, don't forget to check out my interview with Bob Sally. Should be coming out around the same time that this review comes out. Anyway, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.